Today was a National Day of Mourning. It's a tradition started 20 years ago in Canada that's now spread to over 80 countries. And there was a ceremony this morning at Lloydminster City Hall to mark the occasion. Rob Buffum was there.
The flags at City Hall were lowered for National Day of Mourning. It was a ceremony that attracted city workers for speeches and a moment of silence to honor those who've died or been injured at work. It's also a day that's intended to highlight the importance of workplace safety.
Fatalities in the workplace have gone down in Canada, but the numbers are still fairly high. The most recent data suggests that just under 1,000 Canadians died in the workplace in a single year, a number that represents over 2.5 fatalities every single day.
And in Alberta last year, 136 people died as a result of work-related incidents or diseases. While in Saskatchewan, it was 45 workers who died.
The best thing is taking your time, making sure that we're doing it safe.
The city's safety coordinator says many outdoor workers are especially at risk.
Working in the public works, they're always working in the industry. They're working in high construction, they're working in the traffic, there's other workers. We have to worry about drivers, we have to worry about pedestrians. So our road and signs workers would probably be in the most critical department.
Mayor Mulligan cites multitasking as a growing danger.
But let's make sure that when we're multitasking, we're sitting safely at our desk with a pen and a computer, and we're not in a workplace, in a vehicle, in a moving tractor, in a heavy equipment situation, or where we're laborer and we're trying to do 3 or 4 things at one time.
The event came on the heels of a workplace fatality at this retail store in Lac La Biche Wednesday, where a 54-year-old man died after falling from a ladder. A poignant reminder of the relevance of this ceremony's message. Robert Buffum, Newcap News.
A lost beaver has been returned to its natural habitat after wandering into a neighborhood near 46th Ave and 37th Street Close in Lloydminster. After a bit of a scare, a mom and her son were able to catch the critter and lock it up in a dog kennel to await a conservation officer to arrive. Kathy Lee has the details.
They've seen muskrats in the area before, but Stacy Eskelson and her son never thought they'd run into this unexpected visitor.
It was around 9 o'clock. I seen a beaver walking along the sidewalk by my neighbor's house.
She walked out and she saw it. She said, "Beaver, beaver, everyone stand." So I got on my shoes and she got the dog kennel.
I went to the garage. My son helped me and we cornered him just by my house here.
And it was like hissing. It was trying to attack us. It charged, but my mom put it down just in time and it charged in there and she slammed it and she locked it on it.
Not thinking about the possible consequences at the time, Eskelson caught the critter for the sake of everyone's safety.
I was more concerned of it possibly getting ran over or with school out, there's a lot of kids that play around here and I also run a daycare and I didn't want him going into my yard and possibly one of the kids trying to pet him like a dog.
Lloyd Moore says during the springtime it's normal for mothers to leave their offspring when they're about a year old.
Probably what happened was a nearby pond. It was probably living in there and it got kicked out of there and it was wandering around looking for a new place to live.
While Moore doesn't suggest catching them yourself, he says beavers aren't usually harmful.
They usually won't attack anybody unless they're cornered. If you corner them, they can be very vicious.
After being in the cage for a couple of hours, the beaver was transported east of Lloydminster to a place closer to its natural habitat.
We'll probably take it out and we'll let it go somewhere in some slough or a body of water.
While everyone got out of the situation safely, in hindsight, Eskelson says next time she won't be doing the catching herself.
If you have a beaver in your yard, don't try to catch him. Call Fish and Game or Wildlife to do it because it's scary.
Kathy Lee, Newcap News.
Well, the royal wedding is only hours away and people all across Canada and the world are getting ready to pull an all-nighter to watch William and Kate tie the knot. Yesterday, Lloydminster held their own party for the happy couple at the Bar-Colonie Heritage Cultural Centre. And as Whitney Stinson reports, what better way to celebrate than with a tea party?
This is Hope Hope's first official tea party. She spent hours with her mom picking out the perfect dress and finding the best hat for the occasion. Tonight she'll be getting up at 3 a.m. to start watching the wedding festivities, and she's pretty excited.
Because it's my first royal wedding I get to watch.
She's heading to her grandmother's place where the celebration will be in full swing.
My daughters are coming down. We're going to have a pajama party and drink tea and scones and whatever else is available.
The Bar Colony Centre thought this tea was a great way to celebrate their newest collection. Over 300 pieces of royal commemorative china were donated to the museum by local couple Wendy and Eric Collins.
We got them in antique shops. We had them given to us as gifts. We searched high and low in any country we were visiting, mostly England.
They've been collecting the china for 49 years. All the pieces are different and all of them dated.
We're very fortunate to get it. And we thought that this tea would be a way of unveiling that collection to the public, as well as celebrating the royal wedding.
Over 100 people turned out to see the collection. Many of the attendees are of Bar colonist heritage.
We still have the old farm where he built up, and it's just something that's gone through to our family and right down to our grandchildren. Respect for the British Empire.
Whether or not your loyalty to Britain remains strong, many people enjoy the drama of the big event.
It's a fairy tale which happens so rarely that it's hard not to get caught up in the excitement.
It's bringing a bit of tradition and elegance to a rather humdrum April.
A fairy tale.
The Royal China Collection will be a permanent display at the Bar Colony Centre. So once the wedding bells have rung, you can always come and reminisce about the royal experience. Whitney Stinson, Newcap News.
As the saying goes, build it and they will come. On this week's Road to Recovery, we'll see how the construction of a new facility means good things for more than just those seeking addiction services. The new Thorpe Recovery Centre will be a huge step forward for the staff and clients, and also for the overall architectural feel of Lloydminster.
Well, it certainly is far beyond what a lot of other buildings are in the city, and the only buildings that can compare are municipal buildings and schools and the like. People seeking addictions treatment are still sometimes stigmatized by society, but the designers have done their best to ensure the building itself will be warm and welcoming. There's nobody there against their will. With that said, there is a high level amount of security systems built into the building. But to mitigate some of that, a lot of use of natural light. The services offered by the Thorpe are well known throughout Western Canada, and the hope is that the new facility will represent a bigger impact. I think it's a gem in the rough that a lot of people don't recognize, but it will be a force to be reckoned with there, and I believe it's going to be looked at not only across Canada, this very facility, but perhaps even internationally. On May 19th, the centre is planning their first ever fundraising gala. They have a fine Cajun-style menu plan and are bringing in Canadian country star Terry Clark to perform. The organizers are hoping for a sellout so the building construction can be finished as soon as possible.
We need to get the families to recognize, the community members to recognize, and the business owners to recognize that this is a curable disease and we can fix this, but we need the money. Tickets are $150 or $1,200 for a corporate table, with tax receipts available for half those amounts. And they're available at the centre, on their website, and also on Terry Clark's website.
Road to Recovery with the Thorpe Recovery Centre. Building hope, one person at a time.
Stephen Harper has spent most of the campaign directing his energy towards discrediting Michael Ignatieff's Liberals, but recent polls have caused him to shift his focus. All of that story and more from the federal campaign trail coming up after the break.
Stocks and oil prices brought to you by Spectrum Restoration. For floods, fire, smoke damage, and more, call Spectrum Restoration, a certified member of the Canadian Disaster Restoration Group.